Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a bit of a chatty update. It's been a while since I did one of these. I think I did last one back in April when we first moved into this house, thereabouts. And a lot has happened in that time, and it's not always the kind of thing that I managed to capture in a vlog or in any other kind of video. So for those of you who are interested, which is probably just my mum, hi mum, I thought I would just sit down and chat to you all and let you know what's been going on in our lives lately. So I'm going to start with some really sad news, and I feel like I should include it in this update because I did a video all about it a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, those of you that follow me on Instagram will already have seen probably that I put a post up back a week, probably just over a week ago. Basically, I should start at the beginning. A couple of weeks ago, my husband Dan surprised us all with a puppy. We recently lost our Labrador Bailey, who we have had for 14 years, and she'd been unwell for a while, to be honest, and on and off, you know, she'd have good days where she was happy as Larry and nothing seemed to be really wrong with her, and then she'd have really bad days where she struggled to walk and she was clearly in pain, and we took her to the vet. There was not a lot they could do. I don't want to ramble on about it too much, but basically we took a long time to make the decision because it's such a horrible decision to have to make, to say goodbye to a pet, especially if you've had one that you've had for so long. But it got to the point where, you know, we knew it was what had to be done. So that was that, and that was back in August, sort of midway through the summer holidays. I was obviously really upset about it, making the decision and on the day, but it really hit me about a week or so after that, and I just fell apart. I was so upset about it. I've spoken about this before. I don't want to kind of go over all ground, but I've spoken before about how I have a tendency to bottle things up and not think about them too much when they're happening at the time, and not get emotional about things until afterwards, and that definitely was the case with Bailey. It hit me a lot harder a week, 2 weeks afterwards. So that was awful. And then Dan, a couple of weeks ago, surprised us all with this puppy, and I was not completely thrilled to start off with, just because I'm not great with surprises, so I would like to have known, just so we could be more prepared. And I don't know, his heart was in the right place, and he really missed having a dog, even a couple of weeks only after Bailey had sadly gone. But he loves having a dog in the house and a pet in the house, so he wanted to the kids to experience having a puppy, blah blah blah. So he surprised us all with a puppy, and she was a little black lab. If you've seen the video, I will link it. I'm going to leave it up obviously so we can remember her, but sadly she was unwell, and only a couple of days after having her and her spending some time in the vet, she passed away. And it's awful. She was only 8-9 weeks old, and we were just all, and as you can imagine, completely devastated. And the hardest thing about it is the kids. How do you explain to, you know, Dylan and Merrin are 11 and 10, and Merrin took it very badly. She was devastated, and Dylan, he's more kind of quiet about things. He was with Bailey as well, but you could see obviously how upset he was. But how do you explain it to a 5-year-old? He was, poor Aiden. So yes, very sad, heartbreaking, dreadful, and I think we'll never forget her. She made us all very happy for the brief time that she was with us. And yes, I'm gonna move on from that because I don't want us all like weeping into our cuppers. Sorry if I've depressed you. So I'll move on to some happier news. School. The summer holidays was great, but didn't it fly by this year? Everyone that I speak to has said the same thing, and I know it's such a cliche, but it doesn't normally feel like it goes that fast. The summer holidays always drags a little bit towards the end, if you ask me, and I'm always thinking, oh, you know, come on, surely it's time for them to go back by now. As much as I love having them home, it does get to a point where it's like a bit, you know, they're all bickering and stuff, and it gets a bit on top of you. But this year it just flew by. I don't know what happened, but I feel like I blinked and they were back in school. We had a fab summer. We had a couple of camping trips. We you know, obviously the weather was fantastic. We spent lots of time together as a family. We had a really lovely summer. This back to school term has been different for our family because Dylan has actually started high school. So he is thoroughly enjoying it so far. I was a bag of nerves with him starting secondary school, and he was as well actually. On the first day when I dropped him off, we were walking up together to the gates and he was like, "Ooh, I've got butterflies," and he felt sick and he was really nervous. But so far he is absolutely loving it. He's loving the extra independence it gives him. He's loving the variety of learning. He's joined some sort of extracurricular clubs that he's really enjoying. He's really into drama, and he's just had an audition for the school show, which is early next year. So all of that I think he's finding really, really exciting. Yeah, he's in the right frame of mind about it all. He's not you know, dreading the extra work and worrying about the homework yet. That could change, but so far so good, and I'm really, really excited for him. It's an exciting year for Marnie as well because she's just starting her last year of primary, which, I don't know, I found it hard with Dylan this time last year, thinking he was in his last year of primary. But Marnie, even though she's more mature and more sensible in so many ways, she just feels younger to me, which is strange, and I'm not entirely sure why, but she does, and it feels odd, really odd to me that this time next year, she'll be in high school. That just blows my mind. But anyway, she is and will be, certainly by this time next year, so ready for it. She's such a bright girl and so eager to learn and eager to experience everything that school has to offer. She's currently preparing her, campaign for like school council. She didn't get into school council last year and she was devastated. So I've got everything crossed that she gets in this year, because I know how devastated she'll be if she doesn't. It's her last chance. So we spent the weekend coming up with ideas, what she could offer as a school counsellor and all that kind of thing. So I'm really, really hoping that she gets enough votes, because her peers vote for who they want to be a school counsellor, and she just missed out last year. So yeah, I had to resist the urge to tell her to offer everybody sweets if they vote for her. I didn't think that was quite the message that the school were going for. But yeah, that's where Marnie is at the moment. She is very much enjoying her first term as a year 6 student, and she actually volunteered to be a buddy for the younger pupils, and she came home that day from school really excited because she just found out that she was a buddy for Aiden's year. He's in year 1 now, so I think it's once a fortnight she gets to go and spend some time with Aiden's class and help them to learn and help them throughout the day or throughout a lesson. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but she was really excited about that. And what was really cute was that Aiden was so excited. He couldn't wait to tell me after school that Marnie was going to be his buddy and that he was going to see her when he was in lessons. And yeah, he was really, really excited about that. So he's now in year 1 and he feels like such a big boy. You can just see he's kind of walking into the schoolyard in the morning with a bit of an extra little strut to his step. So far he seems to be really enjoying it. He really likes his teacher. He's just been on his first school trip of the year already, which he thoroughly enjoyed. Aiden is he's funny, he's a mixture between Dylan and Marnie. He's full of beans and bonkers like Dylan, but he's sensible and wants to please like Marnie. So he's really, really upset that he hasn't had homework yet for year 1, because we've set a homework hour. After school sometimes goes on longer than an hour because they're not paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing, but the intention is that as soon as they get home from school every day they'll have a homework hour, because Dylan will probably have daily homework as the term goes on. So they can all sit and do their homework in that hour before they go on to do anything else, and they will do it at the same time so no one feels like it's unfair, blah, blah, blah. But Aiden hasn't actually been given any homework yet, so he's really devastated. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do now in homework hour? This isn't fair. And even though he could quite happily sit and, I don't know, watch something on the iPad or draw on the iPad or whatever, he wants homework. So that's the kind of personality he is at the moment, and he's so funny. He cracks me up. I don't know if you've noticed in any of my videos, but we call him a Fraggle. To me, he just reminds me of Fraggles. Have you seen that program Fraggle Rock? It was my favorite as a kid. And Aiden is just a Fraggle. He's mischievous, he's fluffy and cute and runs around like a crazy little Fraggle. And he said to me last night, I was calling him, and I call him Frags as a nickname, so I was talking to him after his bath, and I was like, how was your day, Frags? And he was like, oh, it was good. And I asked him if his teacher knew that he was a Fraggle, and he said no, I haven't told him, but it's okay because I'm half Fraggle, half human. And he just comes out with these things, and he just, well, he makes me laugh. He's just a really cute, funny little man, and he is thoroughly enjoying the new term so far, so fingers crossed that that continues. Marnie is doing really well, and I haven't actually done a 12-month update for her, and 1 or 2 people have said, can you do one? And she's now 14 months, so perhaps I'll just do a general, like Marnie at a year old kind of update. I don't know, I'll have a think, but if you'd like to see an update on Marnie and how she's getting on, like what she's eating, how she's sleeping, spoiler alert, not very well, then let me know and I will do that. But other than that, she's doing really well. She had her jabs yesterday. I hate taking them for their vaccinations. I'm such a wimp, and I know how, you know, important it is and amazing it is that we have, you know, that we can vaccinate them, and I'm all for it, but I just hate it. And usually Dan comes with me and he will hold her, and I will just be there for the cuddles at the end while we're both like weeping together. But for some stupid reason, of all the times to decide not to ask him to come with me, I went on my own yesterday. I thought, oh, yes, I've got this, I'm gonna do it on my own. I've had 4 babies, I've got this. And it was the worst one because I'd forgotten that they have more jabs at this 12-month appointment than they do at any other one. So she had 1 in each arm and 1 in each leg, and it was the MMR, yeah, and all the other boosters. And yeah, I had to hold her, and oh, it was horrible. She got really upset, bless her, but then the nurse gave her like 1 Milky Bar button, the little white ones, which she just held on to and nibbled and that kind of thing. And that really cheered her up, that stopped the crying, and that was her first taste of white chocolate actually, so I'm sure she is now a fan. So I won't tell you too much about Marnie now because I will do an update on her at 1 year old, but she is really good. She's so funny. Every day she does something really cute and new, and she's just coming out with all these little new noises, and obviously she's walking around now and really playing with stuff. She gets things now, so toys that a couple of months ago she might just have not really bothered with, now she's really rediscovering them, and it's really lovely to watch. So I love all stages of babydom, but I'm really enjoying her at this age. She's just adorable. So what else have I got to update you on? I did make a little list, but I've left it in the kitchen, and Marnie's asleep in her pram in the kitchen, so I'm trying to remember what I wrote without having to go and get it. Oh, our house. We have now sold our old house. It didn't go on the market straight away when we moved because we still had work to do to it, as is our tendency when we buy a house. Because Dan is a builder and all day every day he does stuff to houses, he doesn't tend to want to do stuff to his own house, bless him, and I don't blame him, I wouldn't want to either. So there were lots of unfinished bits and pieces around the house that needed finishing before we could put it on the market. So when we moved here, he just would go back and forth, and it's a lot easier for him to obviously do those things when there's nobody living there. So he would go back and forth and finish bits off, and then we put it on the market, and it was sold within a day, which is incredible. The first viewing, and it went straight away, so that was great. Then obviously you have the whole process of selling it and all of that, which I hate. I'm such a worrier that I can't accept that it is sold until it's all signed and sealed. I won't kind of say to people, yeah, we sold the house, because people are saying, oh, you sold the house then? I was like, well, hopefully, yeah, because even though I knew they really wanted it and it was all going ahead and that like things were happening, I can't bring myself to accept that it is sold until it is sold and it's not ours anymore. So I haven't really thought about it until it all went through, and that happened over the summer as well. So the only other thing I think I wrote down on my list, which I wasn't sure whether to even mention because I thought, does anyone really care? But then 1 or 2 people have messaged me or commented on a video or Instagram post or something like that to ask me if I've lost weight. So I haven't mentioned it, as I said, because I didn't think anyone would really care, but I have lost a bit of weight. Basically, between well, I feel like between all of my pregnancies, even though there's a big gap between Marnie and Aiden, but I feel like I never really lost like this stone of weight. I just feel like I never got, even though, actually that's not true. The summer before I got pregnant with Aiden, for a very brief period of time when I was really dedicated at going to the gym and running, I got into probably the best shape I've ever been in, like in terms of fitness. I was going to spinning classes, I was running at least once a week, I was going to Zumba and all sorts, at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I had like muscles, I had proper definition in my body, which I've never had and I definitely don't have now. But that was probably a little blip in the middle. But other than that couple of months in the middle before I got pregnant with Aiden, I was at least a stone heavier than I wanted to be. Before I even got pregnant with Dylan 11 years ago, I wasn't where I would want to be ideally weight-wise. And then obviously I got pregnant, I put on a lot of weight with my first pregnancy because I got really excited and ate all the burgers and the donuts. So yeah, I never really, well, I definitely didn't shift that before getting pregnant with Marnie because I was pregnant within 4 months of having Dylan. And then, yeah, as I said, it just never went. So after having Marnie, who I knew was my last pregnancy, my last baby, I wanted to do something about that and finally shift that stone or so that had been kind of clinging on and bugging me for a decade. That's depressing. So to cut a very long story short, I decided to do something about it and follow the Cambridge weight plan after seeing how amazingly SJ, my friend who I'm sure you all follow, but I will link her channel for you, she has lost an incredible 4 stone and she looks amazing. She's the best advert for that weight plan that I've ever seen. She's amazing. And I know a couple of other people as well who've had great results from it. So I decided to give it a go. My initial plan was to do it just for a month, just to see if I could shift that stone. And then that would kind of kickstart me into just being a bit healthier in general and trying to maintain that weight loss rather than following it for an extended period. But I've enjoyed it so much. I started, if you don't know anything about the Cambridge weight plan, I will link SJ's video for you below because she does a fantastic job of explaining it all, and if it is something you're interested in, you should definitely check out her playlist on it. But basically you move through steps, and the first step that I was on was step 2, and I just really enjoyed it. I found it really easy to follow. It fitted in with my life and the way I like to eat, and it just took any complication out of planning meals for me, and it just really worked for me. I kept going throughout the summer-ish. I wasn't quite as strict with myself over the summer holidays because, you know, 4 kids at home all day every day and no wine is not a good combination. So I did stray a little bit, but I've managed to lose, I've reached my target now, which was actually 1.5 stone. And it's not for everyone, just as any other diet or weight loss plan isn't for everybody, but it's worked for me. I feel like it's forced me to change my eating habits, which I definitely needed to do, if I'm completely honest with myself. I was definitely a bit of a comfort eater, so yes, and it stopped me drinking so much wine, which, you know, pros and cons. So if you've made it to this point, thank you for listening through my ramblings for probably what is far too long. I like doing these update videos every once in a while. I don't know, I feel like I'll like to look back on them one day and remember all the little things that kind of I haven't made a specific video about, but just stuff that's going on in my brain. So I think I'll do them every couple of months or something like that. If you did enjoy it, give the video a thumbs up so I know you liked it. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you'd click the subscribe button. I'm getting so close to 5,000 subscribers. It was actually my goal to get to 5,000 by the end of the summer holidays, so I haven't quite made it. But if you're not already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would click the button to help me get there, hopefully before the end of the month. No, that's not doable. Maybe by Halloween, that would be great. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!